A colleague from ESPN, Tom Friend, and a columnist for Slam Magazine, Vincent Thomas. All right, Tom, starting with Team USA, you had your concerns about these guys. Now that they put the hammer down and they smack Greece, do you feel better about their chances to finish?
Well, they have us so paranoid. You know, after their losses, you think, oh, this team's going to blow it again. But think about it. If Villanova played Georgetown again, Georgetown would have beaten them by 40, and they should have beaten Greece by 40. They did what they should have done. But, you know, they're motivated, and Dwayne Wade's the beast. I mean, he is playing arguably the best basketball he's ever played, at least what we've seen lately. It's just awesome. So that's a good team. They're gonna go ways, obviously.
Pretty much what you expected, or did they impress you with that effort today?
They impressed me because going into the game, I didn't know how much they were going to beat them by. I knew they were going to win, but it could have been a close game. The fact that they beat them going away was extremely impressive, and you can tell now that Coach K is starting to pare down that rotation, and he knows who's giving him the best minutes. On the concern side, I thought it was interesting that he sat down Dwight Howard midway through the first half and had Tayshaun Prince.
Wait, you said Chris Bosh was soft yesterday. Chris Bosh, was he soft yesterday?
Let me set this up. I love this. You guys went out arguing this point yesterday. Now, Chris Bosh comes off the bench, gives him some good minutes in a big game.
He said he was soft yesterday.
Are their bigs soft?
The bigs are soft, and more importantly, Dwight Howard is having trouble defending that pick and roll, which brings up some basketball IQ questions. He had to have Tayshaun Prince go over and explain to him how to defend the pick and roll because he didn't have time.
I'm not going to do the show on Dwight Howard, but there are 25 teams in the NBA who would give their right arm or 2 draft picks to have this guy.
Sure.
Okay, you can rip him all you want. He's a great player. They're lucky to have him on that team.
He's not a great player. He's not a great player yet.
He's on his
developing.
way.
He's very raw.
Well, but that's not the problem with Team USA.
What do you need to see from him before you decide that he's a great player? What more does he need to do?
A go-to post move, knowing how to defend the pick and roll, not looking lost way up at the top of the key when your man has already slid back down to the bucket, things like that.
Can you get on that team without being a great player?
I don't think that Michael Redd is great. I don't think that Tayshaun Prince or Carlos Boozer is great. Dwight Howard will most likely be great by the end of his career. Right now, there's still some fundamental things lacking in his game. It's all about his athleticism.
Well, it's not going to be the problem with this team. I mean, this team has to just be motivated and make plays defensively, get up tempo, and they'll be fine.
All right, let's go to Pac-Man Jones. Now, he made some comments about Brandon Marshall, kind of got into it, was woofing back and forth. Clearly, he's settling in, he's getting comfortable. What's your reaction to it?
You make the deal with the devil gets you. I mean, the Cowboys, they get these kind of guys now. Now you got Pac-Man, you got T.O., you got Romo, who's going on vacation before playoff games. You got Roy Williams tackling people illegally. You got Terrence Newman ripping Roy Williams. You got a coach who's a lame duck. You got an owner who wants to be the coach. All of it's going to come back to haunt you. I just don't think all the hype's worth it with the Cowboys this year.
Well, I mean, Pac-Man was asked a question about what he thought about Brandon Marshall.
That guy needs to shut up. If anyone needs to shut up, it's Pac-Man.
Why does he need to shut up?
Because he needs to
asked him a question. And it was a comparison between him and T.O. He obviously has great respect for T.O. going against him in practice, and he said what we all know to be the truth. Right now, Brandon Marshall is no T.O.
I think he needs to lay low.
If you're Pac-Man, are there certain ways to answer a question, or maybe should he not answer the question?
There was a disparaging tone.
If you're Pac-Man.
Yeah, there was a disparaging tone to his remarks, so he could have calmed that down a little bit, but he was still just being honest. I don't like is when we castigate somebody for being honest. He was being honest.
But there's a time to be honest. There's a time when you're coming back from a suspension that's as bad as it's been in the NFL, and you got to play the game a little bit. That's just the way it works.
I'm not saying he has to lie. I'm not asking the guy to be dishonest, but maybe you don't want to escalate or stir the pot that much the week that you're firing off a reinstatement letter to the commissioner.
Be a little more diplomatic
about it. Especially when the guy schooled him in practice, allegedly.
Yeah.
You know? All right, let's go to topic number 3, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers answered honestly. He does not like the treatment that he's getting from some of the fans. He mentioned that a 6-year-old kid cussed him out, that he tries to go through the gate and he's punching in his coat, and some other guys dropping expletives on him. He didn't like it. He said as much. What's your reaction?
Well, if anybody needs to zip it, it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, because you're coming after Favre, you're going to get this. Now, I think they've been very good to him. I said this earlier in the week. I think the Packer fans have been very gracious to him, considering. But you're going to get this negative people. These people have been worshiping at the feet of Favre for years. So just let it go. Let it go. Because Phil Bankston couldn't replace Vince Lombardi, and Jay Feeler, whoever, couldn't replace Marino. You got to have the right mindset to do it.
I do think it's kind of perversely comical that little kids are swearing at him.
Yeah, that's not good.
But with that being the case, he does need to just man up, take it, and then shut them all up. Shut up the Favre fanatics, as he called them, on the field. Otherwise, you're just going to look kind of girly.
He looks a little bit too wound up for me right now. A little intense. I think he needs to lighten up. That guy.
Don't be so sensitive.
All right, guys, see you again tomorrow. We'll wrap up the entire week. When we come back, though, we'll wrap up this show. My final burn on why there is still some fight left in the Milwaukee Brewers. Do not go anywhere.